Gove, the former Education and Justice Secretary, is with me now. Very good evening to you, Mr. Gove. First of all,
good evening.
Is it the right decision?
I think it's absolutely the right decision. I think the Prime Minister hit the nail on the head in her statement this morning. Just over the road is the House of Lords. Individuals in there, many of them deeply opposed to the referendum result, wanted to delay and frustrate it. Once the Prime Minister has, as I'm sure she will secure, a general election victory in the bag and a manifesto promise to implement our departure from the European Union, then she will be able to ensure that that referendum vote a year ago is honoured and we get the best deal in Brussels.
Is she in any way, though, damaged by the blanket denials? I mean, we've just detailed some of them over the last 8-9 months that she's been Prime Minister.
Well, when the facts change, you change your mind. And the facts are that we've had the House of Lords, the Liberal Democrats, the Scottish Nationalists and indeed some Labour figures saying that they will do everything in their power to frustrate the Prime Minister in implementing the will of the people. 17.4 million people voted to leave the European Union, but there are some politicians who want us to revisit that decision. I think the Prime Minister will secure support for the course that she's already charted, and I think it will strengthen her hand in making some of the other changes that the country needs.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you already seem to be part answering the question I was going to put to you next, and Theresa May did, of course, in the statement outside number 10 about how much of this general election, because that's what it is going to be a rerun of Brexit. A huge dollar.
I don't think that we'll be rerunning the arguments in the referendum, but I do think that the case that Theresa has made over the course of the last few months for Britain as a proud, independent nation, leading globally, trading with partners old and new, but having taken back control of our democracy, that will be part of the campaign. But there are also other areas where the Prime Minister has spelled out her desire for further reform, whether that's in the area of housing or increasing social mobility. And I think in the course of the campaign, we will also concentrate on leadership. We need to know that in the next 5 years we have a steady hand on the helm. That's Theresa's, and I'm convinced that when people ask themselves, who do I want running this country in the next 5 years, then the answer will be Theresa leading a strong team.
But we've no idea then, there's no roadmap for a general election like this, with a referendum as momentous as that just before it. Let me put this to you, with the Richmond by-election in mind and the Lib Dems surging to victory there, there's effectively going to be one Remain party standing in most seats. Tim Farron's making that very clear, certainly Remain in the single market. Even in seats like your own, as such a prominent Leave campaigner, if they gang up against you, the Remainers, and the Leave vote is split, couldn't you be vulnerable?
No, I think that there are very few questions for which Tim Farron is the answer. And I don't think during the course of this campaign that people are going to say, oh, look at him. He's a natural Prime Minister. We want him directing the fate of the nation. And also, if you vote anything other than Conservative in this general election, you risk not having the strong leadership that Theresa provides. So, of course, the Lib Dems will try to corral some voters by whatever means they consider necessary. But I don't think that we will see any repeat of Cleggmania or any of the previous Lib Dem surges.
Cleggmania, no. OK, well, let me put to you that point that the Chancellor made there about the manifesto. It's very important. I mean, Philip Hammond's making pretty clear that he feels his hands are tied. And then that was the trouble he got into in the budget with national insurance, that manifesto pledge about no tax rises. There's also the issue of the triple lock on pensions. Would you advise, and I don't know if you're going to have any input into the manifesto, getting rid of things like that to give leeway for a Chancellor to operate depending on the circumstances?
Well, I wouldn't presume to give the Chancellor advice about what should be in the manifesto, because he's close to the figures. He understands the nature of the problem that we face in trying to deal with that deficit.
We don't know what lies ahead. Why bind the hands of a Chancellor? They're saying no tax rise.
Exactly. I wouldn't want to bind his hands, but I do think that this manifesto is an opportunity to show that Britain outside the European Union can achieve so much more. So inside the European Union, the capacity of any Chancellor, for example, to vary VAT is limited. Inside the European Union, the capacity of any government minister to buy British and to change procurement rules in this country's favour is limited. Outside the European Union, we can achieve so much more, and that's why I think this manifesto could be one of the most exciting and historic documents in politics.
And lastly, there'll be a new cabinet, if Theresa May wins, of course. Would you like to be in that?
I think she's got a very good team, so I'm very, very happy being...
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.